right, so if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to figure out how to create a course to sell online. Luckily, you're in the right place. Creating an online course has a million different benefits that we can discuss in other videos, but right now, I want to get you unstuck as fast as possible by giving you my top tips that you can use right now to create a course online. So with that being said, welcome to Course Launchers. Let's get started. All right, tip number one is to find your niche. What do you do well? 9 times out of 10 when you're looking to create a course online, one of the easiest ways to get started is to create a course on something that you're already familiar with. Now, you don't have to be an expert per se, but you want to make sure that you have enough knowledge that you can communicate effectively to your target audience and you can get them from one point in one location, which is likely the pain that they're suffering right now, to another place, which would be their solution. And that is what your course provides. So ask yourself, what are some of the things that you do well? What do people generally call on you to do? It doesn't have to be something that you're the best of the best at. It just has to be something that you can create content about to get a person from point A to point B. Next, you may want to consider their needs. What can you teach them first that would get them furthest? Narrow this down to the one simple thing that you can do right now to get them immediate results. Whatever that thing is, that's the thing that you use in your introduction to get them hooked into your course. You see, the funny thing about creating online courses is that just because someone purchases doesn't mean that they won't ask for a refund. And if we can reduce your churn rate from the beginning, which is the rate of people asking for refunds after they purchased your course or dropping out of your membership program, then we can greatly increase your income without actually doing any extra work. All you have to do is make sure that the foundation is laid correctly in the beginning. All right, so after you've discovered exactly what you want to create a course about, you've discovered your niche, you know exactly who your target audience is. Now you want to identify the key concepts that you want to cover so that it will appeal to that audience. This helps you break your large course down into smaller, more organized concepts. These concepts are extremely important because you don't want to give them too much all at once. So a really efficient way to do this is to start with the broad overall topics. Once you have the overhead topics, break those topics down into smaller subsection topics. These are manageable little subtopics that complement the main topic. Next, you can create learning objectives for each one of those subtopics if you want to. Now, this part is optional, but it depends on how deep you actually want to go in your training. But I generally teach my students to make sure that they write a brief description for every one of these subtopics so that the description doesn't slip your mind and you can go back and easily reference it when we actually lay out the entire course. That way, you're not spending time trying to remember, okay, why did I make this topic? Okay, where does this fit into my overall structure of my course? All right, so now that you've done your brain dump, the next step is to determine in which order you want the topics to go in. In other words, how do you want to cover the topics? Generally, for most processes, there's a chronological order that you can use, but it really depends on what industry you're in. I've seen courses that were so sporadic that they didn't make a lot of sense to me, but they worked for the audience. So you have to know exactly who you're talking to in order to determine which order you want your course to go in. And once you have your topics structured, then the next thing to do now is just simply create the course. So ask yourself, what format would you like to use to present your course to the world? Do you want to use PDFs? Do you want to use articles? Are we using audios? Are we talking video content here? If so, do you want a screencast? Do you want to use PowerPoint? Do you want to use face to camera like we're looking at right here? There's so many different options that you can use to get your course off the ground. And my suggestion to you would be pick the one that feels the most natural to you. Some people are prolific writers and can't stand to be on video. I'm the opposite, of course. I love to be on video because I've been doing this for years. So writing a 120-page ebook would take me twice as long as it would for me to create a video course. So the real key here is to figure out exactly what works best for you and then dig your heels in the ground and get to work. Now listen, this is generally the part of the process where a lot of my students get stuck. So if you're looking for a more in-depth step-by-step process onto how to create the content, then you'll love my masterclass where I walk walk you through the entire process step by step. All right, so now that you have your content created, it's time to add your content to your learning management system. Now, a learning management system, also known as a LMS, is a place where you can add all of your content for your students to access. They generally come with a host of features that allow you to gate all of your content so that no one can access it without paying you. Secondly, they have a gang of analytics in most cases, depending on which one you use. This actually helps you track your students' progress so that you can make sure that people who purchase the course are actually attending your lessons and going through your courses. Thirdly, it gives you a place to build a community. So once people start actually signing up and paying you money, you will want to form a community so that they can communicate with people who are in their same circle. These are like-minded people. And as iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another. So it's good to have this relationship-based community where people can log into and get great content, but not only get great content, they can fellowship and have communion with other people who are like-minded. This helps them get further faster. And the reason that I recommend LMS is because they're ridiculously affordable first and foremost. Second of all, you can build one yourself if you had to. And if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below and I'll create an entirely different video walking you through step by step how to do that. And third of all, you get to keep your own profits. So it's better than paying Udemy or Skillshare or Thinkific or Kajabi or some of the other platforms out there. It's going to take a large amount of your revenue. And then after you pay taxes, and if you're anything like me, you tithe as well, you're really not left with much profit after that. So LMS is generally the best way to go. All right, so now that your course is up and running, the next thing to do is to just simply launch, right? Drive traffic to your landing page and get people to sign up. There's always a ton of effective ways to get traffic. Traffic is an entirely different animal in itself, and it deserves its own series of videos, not another video, but its own series of videos to go over. But really briefly here, just keep 3 types of traffic in mind that you can use to get the job done. One is organic traffic. Now, the bad thing about organic traffic is that it's really, really slow and it takes time. Organic traffic is just simply allowing social media platforms to do the job of driving the traffic for you by you creating content and putting it out on the internet. The time really varies based on how much content you can produce and which platforms you're using, but the good part about organic content is that it's free. Now, the second option, of course, is paid advertising. Paid advertising is fast. We call it digital amplification in our academy. And the moment you amplify your content, you get immediate results because you can get laser targeted traffic directly to your offer to test the waters in your concepts to see if they work or not. So paid traffic is amazing. The bad thing about paid traffic is that it costs money, but there are ways to leverage it if you learn how to do it the right way. And we'll talk about that soon. The third type of traffic that I'd like to mention to you is they kind of mix in between, but it's called utilizing your low-hanging fruit, right? People that you already know, communities that you're already a part of. Where is your audience already hanging out? Getting your friends and family members involved. Even if they're not interested in your course, chances are they may know someone who's interested in your course. So it's almost word of mouth if you would, but it's more a grind and hustle, getting out there and putting the work in to establish yourself as a thought leader in that particular niche so that people will come to you when they want to know more about whatever it is that your particular course is providing the solution for. All right, so that's it. Thank you for joining me. This is Anthony from Course Launchers. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button and subscribe below. And hey, drop me a comment and let me know how I'm doing, especially if you have any other comments or questions. Take care.